Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today with not a first impressions. I've tried these, but it's sort of like a demo review and second or third impressions because I haven't used these too much, but I sort of want to play with them. I want to show you what they're like. I want to wear it all day and I want to sort of check in and let you know how I feel about these products. This is the latest release from Hindash Cosmetics. These arrived to me. I was sent these from Hindash. Thank you, Hindash. He's such a sweet guy. I want to say, talking to Hindash in like messages, he's such a lovely guy. But I completely appreciate being on his PR list because at the moment I have no idea what's going on with makeup. So it's when these arrive, I'm like, oh my God, Hindash released something cool. Now these arrived and I was planning on doing like a in-depth full-on review. These are sort of cream multi-purpose products. There's obviously 4 shades, a light sort of brown, hang on, I'll get the descriptions. A matte tan brown, a matte dusty rose, a matte fiery orange, and a matte dark chocolate. So those are the colors. And they're designed to be put anywhere. So they're vegan, cruelty-free products. They're liquidy cream, like high pigment products that you can mix with I don't know, if you want to mix it with like a foundation to tone it down, if you want to mix them together to create your custom color, you can use it as a bronzer, blush, eyeshadow, liner, lip product. You can use them everywhere. So that's sort of the concept of these, which are really cool. Now I was like, I want to do a review where I do like monochromatic looks with it, like using just the orange all over my face. Not like all over my face, but as my makeup everywhere, using maybe just the tan brown, for example. So Hindash does show some of that on his Instagram account, so I'll insert some stuff going on the screen, but I was like, I really want to play with it and see if I can make that work. I haven't had the time to do that. Life is hectic. I'm running off like 4 hours sleep and I don't know what's going on with my life. But last weekend I went out with Hayley for her birthday and she was like, oh my God, have you used the new Hindash products, which are called Color Fluid, by the way? I'm like, I don't even know what they're called. And I was like, no, I haven't used them yet. I'm waiting for a review. And she's like, use them. Do yourself a favor. They are amazing. And she was just going on about how nicely they blend and how beautifully they wear. And you don't have to wear primer. And it lasts 16 hours. That's how long she tested it for. And she got compliments on her makeup and this and that and da-da-da-da-da. And she's like, use them, use them, use them. So I was like, look, I'm not going to be able to do a review for a good week. So I'm going to dabble with them. And I have to say, I'm so far very happy. I've only used these two. But I'm so like impressed by them so far. So I want to demonstrate them. I want to wear them. I'm going out tonight to see one of my old school favorite bands in concert. So I'm going to wear this for a while and I want to, yeah, I just want to have a play on camera essentially. So if you do eventually want to see me apply like one of the colors or like 2 colors, one to half the face, one to the other, like monochromatic looks, let me know. I can get around to doing that, but headspace, it's not there right now, unfortunately. But let's talk a little bit more about the products. So I'll have the price on the screen. There are the 4 shades. The matte brown is Carve, Heartist is the Dusty Rose, Rising is the orange, and Thorn is the chocolate brown. And the information from the card says, apply on eyes, face or lips for full monochromatic looks. A little goes a long way, made to mix with your products for a soft flush of color or on their own for full color impact. Think of this as your vegan full pigment paint for wherever you like. So Hindash recommends mix with your base products for custom blush, contour and bronze tones. Tap on your lips for a soft matte color. Use as full eyeshadow, primer or liner. So they pretty much just do everything. You can use them primer under your eyeshadow. You can use them as a liner. You can use them as your brows. You can use them wherever you want, which is really interesting. And I don't think they probably exist from some brands, obscure brands somewhere. I don't think I've heard of this sort of like all-in-one multi-purpose product from a brand. So I do think these are pretty innovative. So I'm going to be using all shades today on my face. I've only got foundation on and a bit of concealer. I have not powdered, which is why I've got some shiny action going on. I've done my brows. I shouldn't have done my brows though, because I could have used these for my brows. That's all right. I've done my brows. I'll use them as a liner, whatever. I am going to powder half my face. I've got a Winky Lux powder here. I'm just going to powder this half because I need to powder this area for one, but I want to see if I can apply these over powder. Like, do they skip? Do they, you know, apply patchy? Do they lift my base? Or is it best, because they are matte, you can apply them first and then powder over the top. You're not going to lose any sort of luminosity or glow. So I'm going to just powder, yeah, half my face to figure that out. All right, I'm going to start by applying this tan shade Carve as a bronzer. Now, the advice that Hayley gave me was to definitely lean into what Hindash said about mixing with like your base product, because these set very fast. They're very, very pigmented. They set fast. So I could dot a little bit on and blend, but by the time you've blended it in, it's already set. So the recommendation was to put some on the back of your hand. You can see that this is super pigmented, like just a little dot goes a long, long way in terms of pigmentation. So this is pigmented. Take a little bit. I don't have my foundation with me at the moment, but I do have a concealer that I'm just going to mix it with, just to sort of help it sort of move on my face and not be super bold. So I've got some like that. I've got this concealer buffer brush from Quartz Beauty, which I'm just going to mix this together. It might be a little bit light. I might need a little bit more of the actual product. Here we go. This also has a sort of squished doe foot applicator, so it does actually pick up quite a nice amount of product, but if you want to just put a little bit on, you can sort of dab it with a tip, otherwise you can sweep it with the side, which, you know, works. So I put a bit more just to get some bronzy action going on. So you can see that you can sort of adjust the color, and I'm going to apply this to my non-powdered side first so it doesn't pick up any powder. I want to see, you know, how well it blends. So I'm just going to dab this on. This is pretty subtle. I feel like this is already drying. Might just be because the concealer is fairly dry. I think it'd be, if you had like a dewier foundation, you'd probably have a little bit more black. But my foundation's downstairs and I've got a baby on my lap and I just don't want to disrupt him. Otherwise I won't be able to finish this. So this is blending really, looking supernatural. Sam and Dean, supernatural. It's looking really sort of, yeah, blended and subtle and pretty. I am just wanting to, look, I want to do it. I want to put a tiny bit, just a couple of dots just to see how well it blends if you take it in little stages. And it's fine. I do think it needs a bit more of a dewier base to help that really mix in though, if you do want to just apply it without a foundation mixer. But that looks beautifully sculpted. I don't have any there, so you can see the difference. Now I'm going to apply it to the powdered side. I have, look, again, it dries really quickly, so I would just mix a tiny bit at a time. Again, I think if you use a really dewy foundation, maybe you'll get more mileage out of it. But with the Maybelline Superstay concealer that I'm currently mixing it with, it is drying fairly fast. So there's that. I feel like this is not blending as well. It's still blending nicely, but I feel like there's a little bit more resistance to it. Not much, like you can definitely go away, weird fringe. What are you doing to me today? Again, if you're really fast, but you can see that's already starting to dry. If you're really fast, you can just put it directly on the skin, but you'd want to do like a little area at a time to prevent it from drying and getting quite patchy. But otherwise, it blends beautifully. Like that's a really nice product. And it's not picking up my base. Like I'm doing quite a lot of stippling, and my base, even though it's powdered, looks very nice. So yeah, a bit dewier on that side because obviously it's not powdered, but both sides look really pretty. A bit of warmth, color's beautiful. I love it. I love it on both sides. I love it over powder. I think I love it a little bit more just over the foundation. So I would recommend probably putting this on before you powder and then powder over the top of it, because I just feel like it gives just a little bit more of a natural look. That glow's really pretty. It's not going to last though on me. That's the problem. So I'll powder in here later, but I want to also apply some blush. All right, I'm going to take this shade here, which is Heartist, And I want to apply it as a blush, but I also want to mix. What I like about these is you can mix your own shade as well. I'm just thinking this with a little bit of the orange would make a really nice sort of peachy color. But just to start off with, I want to put a little bit. Oh, is that a little bit? I don't know. Oh shit, I didn't even pick up my mirror. Quick, 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 quick. Yeah, it dries fast. Look at that. Dries really, dries fast. And it's really pigmented. So I definitely think mixing it with your base product is a smart move. Because that's mixing too fast. I'm going to put a little bit of concealer on just to sort of tone that down. But it's beautiful. I would love to see these. I like the matte finish because I think that's really versatile, but I'd also love to see these in more of a dewier finish so you can get that really sort of nice wet look. But I suppose if you apply it over something dewy like I've done today, you can definitely keep a bit of that luminosity without, I don't know what I'm talking about, without needing like adding a luminous product. That is a blush. It's beautiful. It's blended really nicely. It's a little bit pink for me. I kind of want to try it on this cheek with a little bit of the orange just for fun. So I'm going to put a little bit on my hand. All right, the combo I have here is some of the pink, some of the orange, and some of my concealer. And if I mix all that together, I get that color, which is really pretty. So I'm going to try that on this cheek. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I definitely, look, it does blend. It doesn't pick up foundation if it's set, but I definitely think it just looks a little bit more natural over unset makeup. And I'm going to go in with that color just a little bit here just to even it out. But that is a blush look. All right, I'm just going to get my powder again and just powder in my sort of T-zone area because I don't want to disrupt that beautiful effect too much. I'm going to just powder the edges too. Maybe tone it down a little bit. I'm going to make the eyes really simple, so I'm going to lean into the blush. It is what it is. We're going there. All right, for the eyes, I'm just going to use this shade and then use the darker brown as an eyeliner. That is just some foundation creasing on my eyelids, but I've got no primer on, and I have used this shade before. It's very beautiful as just sort of like a natural shadow, and it does last, I can tell you, without creasing. On my sort of normal eyelids, it lasts all day. And see how it blends? It's just, the blendability is extreme. I'm rushing it because I should have put it on one at a time. Just be careful, these do set fast. So probably one eye at a time just to make it a little bit less rushed. But see how that almost blends itself? These are so nice. All right, I'm going to take some of my lower lash line as well. I feel like these are mainly to be applied like to the back of your hand or to a palette or to a brush. I don't feel like you're supposed to use this applicator to directly apply it to your face. It's just sort of the way to dispense it out of the bottle. I think this is definitely something that benefits from being mixed around to being like, yeah, mixed with different shades, different products. You could also mix like the blushes with a liquid highlighter to make a shimmery blush. I think there's a lot of things you can do, and that's sort of how these are designed. They're like a paint, a tube of paint. But these just, I love this color for one. It's such a nice sort of like just everyday matte eye. And I don't really like all matte eyes because I feel like sometimes matte shadows tend to look a little bit patchy on me. The blend looks flawless. The pigmentation looks flawless. It's just such a nice product. I don't need to build it up. I think it's gorgeous. So that is the eyes, and I'm going to use, do I have a liner brush here? I'm going to use a dark brown shade as a liner. I feel like for me and my skin tone, this is a shade that I'm not going to use too often. Maybe for a really cool lip, maybe for a liner, maybe for a bit of a brow. But I sort of get the vibe that these two are more for like fairer skin, and these two are more for deeper skin. And then of course you can mix and match and tweak colors if you want to find in between shades, or if you want to mix a bit peachiness or whatever. I feel like these are designed, yeah, for a variety of skin tones, but also to mix together. But because I wanted to try just the tan shade on my face, and I think that's the one that suits me the best as a bronzer, I didn't want to intensify it with this. If you want to contour, like a severe contour, this one will probably be good, but I don't like contouring. I'm really bad at it. It is what it is. So I'm just picking up some on an angled brush, and I'm going to do a wing line. These are so pigmented. Like, this is the pigmentation of a gel, like a gel liner. It's very easy to use as a liner. This is the most perfect dark brown. It's like a neutral brown. It's super, defines the eyes gorgeously, and it just glides on. So it's not, I really like this formula. I like it for everything. I think it's gorgeous. And this shade as a winged liner, it's like my favorite liner color. Black I find is sometimes a little bit too harsh. And a lot of the times I don't like the browns. They're not the right depth of brown. Sometimes they're so black that you may as well just use a black. Sometimes they look so light that you don't define the eye. Sometimes they're, you know, too cool, too warm. This is like the most stunning way to, I don't know, enhance your eye shape. Oh, I'm getting a bit of a muck up. It is super pigmented, but there's a little bit of layering that you might need to do if you want it super opaque, but it's not much. It's just that there's, from the sweeping of the brush, sometimes you can get a little bit of sheerness, but you could definitely get away with one coat. I'm just going to build it up a little bit just to get that full opacity, but it's really pretty. All right, I'm just gonna go in with a bit more mascara. This is just by Rimmel. This is the Kind and Free mascara. This is a fairly natural mascara, but it's a second coat on my top lash line. So get some volume there, and I'll put some on my lower lash line. All right, so that's the eyes there. I think that's such a beautiful, simple, easy look. You can do it without the liner, but I think that liner is, that color for liner and that sort of wetness is perfection. I think it's really, really stunning. And that brown, just that tan brown, is such a good matte everyday shade for me. I love it. I'm even loving the cheeks. I'm loving it. But I'm going to put this shade on the lips. This, I would say, if you don't like oranges or warm tone reds, I would avoid this because this is very orange. I would not say it's an orange tone red. I would say it's orange with slight reddy sort of leanings to it. So it's not very yellowy orange, but it's definitely orange. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do what pretty much Hindash recommended on the thing, put on your lips and sort of tap it to make like a soft matte effect. This is a matte finish. And I feel like if you apply too much, I feel like this could be a little bit drying and could potentially feel a little bit heavy. I just think it's sort of one of those products that just asking to be blended in a little bit. Definitely work fast. Yeah. All right, that already set before I even got to finish blending it out. So they do set very fast. Maybe like line your lips and then just take a little bit and sort of tap it on in little sections, because I feel like it sets really, really fast. All right, so that is the look using all shades. So just to recap, contour is this tan shade, and also the eyeshadow, I went in with a pink for the cheeks and also mixed it a little bit with the orange just to add a little bit more orange tones, because that's what I prefer out of a blush. Orange is also on the lips, but you could definitely use the nude or the pink, or mix the two to make a pinky nude. And then the dark brown is the liner. This could also sort of be like a brow color for me. It's probably a bit warm. This would probably be better as a bronzer shade for deeper skin. I don't love what my hair's doing today, but I do love the makeup. I think it's really stunning for an all matte cream product. I just never thought these would kind of be my jam, but they are great. So I'm going to wear this throughout the day. I'll do some check-ins if there's anything to update you on. I'll probably go to bed about midnight, so it's about midday at the moment. So I'll let you know how it's sort of wearing in a 12-hour sort of wear. And yeah, I'm keen to update you because I think these are beautiful products. I dig. All right, so it's about a week later, and I did say I was going to be doing a wear test. I did take some footage of how that makeup wore, but I just thought in my conclusion what I'll do is I will sort of overlay that footage as I'm talking about what I think about the products. And I've also used this for a few days since that video, and anything that I've seen that's popped up of interest, I'll also insert photos or any footage to demonstrate my point. So let's get on to what I think about these products, and spoiler alert, I really like them. Again, I'm wearing them all on my face today. So I'm wearing the two browns, the tan and some of the dark brown blended into the crease and the lower lash line. I'm wearing the dark brown as a liner and also in my brows. It's a little bit warm for my brows, but I still like it. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the orange and a little bit of the tan. So all I did over my unset base, so I've actually not set my base today, but over my unset base, I put a little bit of the tan and I put a little dot of the orange, and I blended it in with like a duo fiber brush. And I find it blends it in really nicely. You can tell that it's very pigmented because the orange blush is looking quite bold. If you want to tone it down, you definitely have to mix it with like your foundation to tone it down, but just one dot gives you this really beautiful blush effect. And if you do blend it over an unset base and you're pretty quick, you can blend it in without any problems. You can blend it over a set base, but you got to work faster, and it's more inclined to sort of set quite fast. So yeah, I think you'll have an easier time if you do put these over an unset base and you work pretty quickly at blending them so they don't look patchy. But that's what I've done today. So tan, dark brown, tan, orange, and on my lips I've mixed pretty much equal parts of the tan and the orange together, and I've tapped it over a lip balm. I did find that when I first applied this and I used the orange all over my lips, I did find a few hours later it felt very, very dry and looked very puckered. It did start to wear off on the inner rim of my mouth, but as I sort of throughout the day when I would ate dinner and there was a little bit of like greasiness, it sort of added more moisture to it and sort of made it feel more comfortable again. So that sort of gave me the impression that this works better mixed with something that's more like oily or hydrating. So what I've done over the last few days, I've actually worn variations of these colors or mixed colors and tapped it over a lip balm, and they've worn really nicely. So even though these products are matte, and if you apply them just on like your bare skin, they will look matte. So like for example on my hand there where that was my little like mixing pad, if you apply it over something that's dewy, I find that it takes on the property of what's underneath it. So for example, today I'm wearing a tinted SPF with some concealer, and you can see that I've got dewiness going on. That's not highlighter, that's the dewiness from the tinted SPF coming through the blush. So the blush or the colored product didn't matte my base down, same as my lips. I've applied it over a lip balm, and you can see that it's taken on the property of the lip balm. It hasn't actually matted down the lip balm, if that makes sense. So if you're worried about matte, if you wear sort of dewy foundations, dewy sort of lip products, applying these mixed with it or on top, it will take on the finish of what you've mixed it with, which is interesting. So I really like that about this product because it means it's a lot more versatile and it's not just like, yeah, drying and matte everywhere. You can adapt it. The one sort of exception would probably be on the eyes. I find if you put anything on your eyes, it's more inclined to make these crease. The first night I wore this, like my makeup wore like a powerhouse. I wore this probably for about 13 hours. And I found that the eyeshadow looked amazing. The cheeks were still on. So the color of, if you like a blush that lasts, oh my God, these work so well. So I had beautiful cheeks, beautiful eyes. The only thing I changed when I went to a concert was I changed up the lip because I found that orange was a little bit dry on its own. So after dinner, I wiped it off and put on a red lip, but everything else wore beautifully. The liner wore beautifully. It just wore super, super well. The next time I wore these, I noticed that I had actually put eye cream on, like a steroid cream for my contact dermatitis. And I found that because these do take on the properties of what you put it over the top of, it creased when I had like an eye cream on. So if you use a lot of like skincare on your eyes, or you have like a medicated eye cream like I was using, these aren't going to stay budge proof and stay matte and sort of nice. They are more inclined to move with what you put them on top of. So yeah, so I think that works really nicely on the face and the lips, but on the eyes it does mean that they're more inclined to crease if you use a lot of skincare around your eyes or you have really oily eyelids. So generally I think these wear beautifully as an eyeshadow, but the disclaimer is if you have anything underneath them, they can migrate a bit. All right, so I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of the color fluids. I'm going to say the pros are that this is the first time ever in my experience that I've come across a multi-purpose product that does actually work on all areas of the face. I have tried quite a few products that say they're multi-purpose, or that they're used on like the lip and the cheek or the eyes and as a highlighter or whatever it happens to be. And yes, you can technically use them that way, but they work well in one area and they just sort of are a bit lackluster in another. But this is actually one of the products that works really well across the whole face. I've never experienced that. I think that is semi-revolutionary, I would say, because it means that if you like one color, you can use it all over your face. And yesterday I wore this pink all over my face. I wore it as an eyeshadow, I wore it as a blush, I wore it tapped on top of a lip balm, and I had a really minimal base, and it worked really well, and it was really easy. So it means that you can sort of put on a quick base, and then just like, I just went like tap, tap, blended it out, tap, tap, blended it out, tap, dab, dab, dab. And it was literally, I did my whole color face in 2 minutes using one product. I've never experienced that in my life. I almost feel like these should become cult products because they are so versatile and they look so great across the whole face. I think these are fantastic products, and I can see them going straight into my makeup bag. Probably not all shades, but 2 or 3 of them going straight into my makeup bag and being something that I throw on a daily basis, because they are very easy to use. You get a really beautiful sort of flawless look, and by flawless I mean if I put them on my eyes, I know that they blend really nicely and they give a look that minimizes texture. I think it's because of that sort of soft matte finish. It all just looks, it makes you look a little bit more flawless. So these are easy to use, super versatile, and I love using them. So not only do these work really well on their own, but what I think makes them just like a little bit extra special is that you can actually use them to mix with existing makeup products to sort of tweak your makeup. So I actually wore this with a liquid highlighter. I think I mixed the orange and pink with a liquid highlighter to create a really shimmery liquid blush. So it sort of gave that effect of that really popular Charlotte Tilbury product, which I'll have on the screens. I don't remember the name of it, but effectively that's a liquid illuminating sort of blush shimmery product. And the fact that you can make your own with an existing product you might have in your collection and also be able to tweak the color, I think it just shows how versatile these can be. Of course, you can mix them with your foundation to tone them down, or even like color correct your foundation or tweak the tone of your foundation. But if you've got lip gloss or lip balm that's quite sheer, you can add some pigment to it to make it more of like a glossy lipstick sort of effect. So the fact that these can really successfully turn existing makeup into new products means that not only are these good products, but you can get more use out of your current makeup collection. So I think these are really, really, really awesome. Another pro, in my opinion, is the shades chosen. I think they're really flattering shades. Originally, I was like, oh, the pink I'm not gonna really like, but I did use this all over my face yesterday, and the pink is like a warm pink. It's like a natural pink. It's not too sort of bubblegum pink. It's not too bright. When you do blend it out, there's a little bit of like orangey tones to it, so it really complements skin tones, and I think all the shades here are really beautiful and they would complement the tones in people's skin. But of course you've got 2 shades that are probably more suitable for deeper skin tones, 2 shades that are more suitable for lighter skin, and then you can mix and match. These 2 together make that shade on my lips, so it's like a warm brown. It's really beautiful for cheeks, lips, eyes. These together will make a darker sort of warm brown. These together make a really beautiful sort of rosy nude. So the colors are very flattering, but they also will suit different skin tones. I think for my skin tone, even though I love the orange because I love orange tones, these two would probably be the most versatile. And because this does have slight orange tones to it, it's like a warmer pink, I can use those two all over my face on a daily basis, and it creates a really beautiful look. But I do also like a bit of the punchy orange on the cheek or the lips because that's just a color I particularly love. But you could just pick two of these depending on your skin tone or your preferences and create a full face that looks really, really flattering. So I think the colors chosen are really great. I would love to see an expansion. I feel like these could work really well as foundation color adjusters. So for example, if you have a really yellow foundation, but you've got more neutral or pink tone skin, I reckon you could pop a little bit of that in and it really adjusts the color. I would love like an olive tone because I find it really hard to find light olive toned foundation. So like an olive tone color corrector sort of product would be great. And I'd also love the olive tone on the eyes. So I'd love to see Hindash expand these. But I think as it is, these actually do work on such a variety of skin tones. I think he's done a fantastic job at picking the shades. So those are the sort of all the outstanding pros for me. And I think overall these are fantastic products. A neutral point before I get onto the cons would be that these are very, very, very pigmented. Now that is a pro for some people, that is a con for other people. The fact that I needed the tiniest dot on my cheek to get this bold blush look shows that these are very pigmented. And yes, you can mix them with your base products to pull it back, but I think the pigmentation will be a draw card for some people and a hindrance for others. I think there's a bit of a learning curve on how to tone them down. But once you've learnt it, I think they're very easy to work with. So I don't think that's a problem. But yeah, that's just something to mention. When it comes to the cons, I would say that the only cons I've come across is the fact that on your lips, just as the product itself, they're a bit dry. I don't love them. Mixed with other lip product, they're fantastic and gorgeous. But just on their own, I wouldn't say they're a super successful lip. Temporarily, like for an hour or two, they're fine, but as you wear them throughout the day, they do feel dry and they do look quite puckered. Also, depending on what you put on your eyes, they can crease a little bit. I found the best shade was actually the tan, possibly because it's close to my skin tone, I don't really see any creasing, but when I did analyze it the couple of times I've worn it, there has been no creasing, but other times where I've used the pink or the orange mixed with the brown, I have noticed some creasing. So I've sort of had mixed results with these. Sometimes they look flawless after like 13 hours of wear. Other times they do crease. I think it could be shade dependent. I feel like I've had most success with the tan, or it could be, like I mentioned before, how you prep your eyes. If you've got skincare, residual skincare on your eyes or a cream or something, these might move around a little bit more. But what I'm getting at is that these aren't budge proof 100% of the time. If you do have really oily eyelids or put a lot of like thick moisturizers on your skin, these won't stay put all day on your eyes. But saying that, these are still really, really good. I find that on my eyes, most liquid eyeshadows will crease by the end of the day. And it's more evident with mattes. And the fact that sometimes these do crease a little bit and other times they don't crease at all, I still feel like as a liquid eyeshadow, these are very, very successful. I think I would also love to see these in a shimmery version. I know Hindash has done a shimmery eyeshadow and I didn't love it. I think it was hard to sort of build up to get the full effect, and it also sat quite patchy on my eyelids. I would love to see this formula in a shimmery, like having this brown or this pink in a shimmery effect. Not only would that be beautiful on the eye, but it'd be beautiful on the cheeks as well. So I would love to see Hindash again expand this range because I think it's a really, really, really successful formula that could, like, I don't know, it could change a lot of people's makeup routine. So that's it. That's my review of these. I love them. I'm going to take them out of this box and I'm going to have them in my everyday makeup bag because I'm going to use them that often. If you're thinking of placing an order for Hindash Cosmetics in the future, I highly recommend putting 1 or 2 of these in your cart because I feel like once you play around with it and get the hang of it, these can be a game changer in your makeup routine. You definitely don't need all 4. I think 1 or 2 will do you. I'm not too sure if this is going to be my go-to combination or if this is going to be my go-to combination. I feel like this is sort of like everyday minimal makeup, and then to amp it up a little bit is where I'll pull out the orange. But I think whether you choose a dark brown or light brown is going to be based on your skin tone, and then your color preference. Do you like a more muted sort of cheek, or do you like a more vibrant cheek? And that's how I'd sort of pick that. But these are fantastic. I love them, and I just want to wear them every day. So, and I don't usually say that about cream products. I usually find them quite fiddly on a daily basis. And I also feel like on my oily skin, they don't hold up as well and tend to fade. But these are the exception. These last really, really well. And besides a bit of a learning curve when it comes to lips and eyes and how to apply them, once you've nailed it, you'll be as obsessed with these as I am. I think these are fantastic, and I want to see more shades and more finishes. And I'd also like to see like dewier versions of these. So I love the soft matte. I love that they do adapt to what you're wearing underneath them, but I'd also love like a dewier version. I think they will be gorgeous. So a shimmery version, a dewier version, more shades. I want to see it all. I want Hindash to dominate the makeup market with these because they are fantastic. Well done, Hindash, and thank you so much for sending them to me. They've been a beautiful pleasure to play with. All right, well, we're gonna get going, and I will leave all links and information in the description box below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Good job.